Hello. What up? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Blood Splatter Chatter here on a Thursday afternoon with my brother, The Missing Link, to talk the Grindhouse Double Feature, Planet Terror, directed by Robert Rodriguez, and Death Proof, which I always want to say bulletproof, Death Proof, directed by Quintin Tarantino. So the first time doing a Tarantino film, obviously on here. I think we've done Robert Rodriguez, but I'm tripping now. Maybe we haven't.
Did we do cover
We did
this
Dust
from
Till
this film?
Dawn, and
Yeah.
we did Dust Till Dawn, and we did The Faculty on DHS. But I feel like there was another Robert Rodriguez one that I'm forgetting, but I'm not sure. But anyway, first time watch for me, that's the surprising part.
Oh
I know
shit.
you kind of grew up with these movies, I assume, right? To a degree.
Yes. Yeah. I actually saw this in theaters.
Oh, really?
Yes, with my cousin and my sister. So that's one of my coolest. You know. I just thought you got two big ass directors, almost damn near in the prime, coming together for like a niche thing.
Right.
Yeah, there's two movies for the price of one. It was an ambitious thing. I was doing some research last night. I was shocked to find out this actually was not financially fiscal. I was a little shocked. I always thought this was a banger. So
I kind of get it though, because it's more. I mean, you're a film guy, and you were. I said you
right.
grew up with it, but you were like in your 20s. I think of that as us growing up. But you're a film guy. I think it is pretty niche, and a lot of people, especially after I'm looking now to see, yeah, this followed Kill Bill. So just if you're going in just thinking Tarantino, and you're like, oh, the follow up to Kill Bill, I could totally see being. Not that I would say I didn't dislike Death Proof, but I could see being disappointed, being like, oh, okay, that wasn't Kill Bill. And then Planet Terror, it's a real specific thing. Like I dug it, but I get the people that are like, don't get the weird tone and the kind of some people might even realize it was trying to be funny at times. You know what I mean?
This came out, I was 18 going on 19 when this came out in theaters, and I back then I think I hands down I was like Death Proof over Planet Terror. Both enjoy both of the segments, but I almost want to say upon this rewatch, I'm a little divided. Death Proof is a weird film for me because it's like I get people's gripes with it, but it's in a weird way one of my favorite Tarantino films because it's so different than the rest of his films.
Right.
But I think I found like we'll get to it, but I think I like the first half of Tarantino's segment, and it's like after that, it loses its identity, and I think that's the problem. I can never put my finger on until this rewatch.
I could not agree more, man. Like, yeah. Well, like you said, we'll definitely get to it, but I'm right there with you. I want to start out, even though we're going to talk Planet Terror first because it's the one that comes first in the double feature. Tarantino, I mean, I think he's a lot of people. There's some people that think he's overrated, overhyped. I think a lot of like film snobs. I've realized as I get deeper into film, a lot of people I feel like there's certain people that look down on Tarantino. I love him. You know what I mean? I think he's like one of the best and has like some of the most entertaining films of all time. And he's like a gateway to get into like deeper cinema. He's got like real like accessible artsy films, right? Because he's doing artsy filmmaker shit, but doing it in genre type films, and it's like stuff that's super entertaining, and the unique dialogue, which is probably the most influential thing that he's done. Really, is that dialogue.
His banter is iconic, man. We'll get to it, but no, Tarantino. It's weird because it's like his scripts are amazing. Like his characters sound authentic, real. But it's like I imagine, like sometimes he'll do this in interviews where he like starts to, I ain't tell her that he gets a little hood or urban, and I'm like, doesn't sound right coming from you, Tarantino. But on script, on paper, it sounds, and I just imagine that because I'm like, okay, in his head, this is how it shouldn't bother me too much because when he's writing these scripts, this is the voice he uses in his head. This helps him with his process. But it's just so jarring to hear him like do that sometimes. But no,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Exactly what you're talking about. And plus, the way he writes black characters, like he's surrounded by a lot of like people of color. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson being a huge supporter. He'll always tell people that, oh, too many N-words, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? So he's got that, but it does come off as like, you know what I mean? Just
But at the same time, I can't knock it because it helps him with this process, and I find it weird that people look down on him because it's like you may not like you. He's like a filmmaker you gotta like respect to a degree even if you don't like his stuff, because it's like he's self-made. He didn't go to film school, didn't learn. He's just a fan that
right.
He taught himself, and he had made some connections over the years. But it's like him, Christopher Nolan. These are iconic directors. They push the genre of filmmaking, and these are guys who didn't go to classical film school. So
I didn't know that about Christopher Nolan. I think of him
Yeah.
as like the way more successful version of Kevin Smith. That like
Yes.
kind of like an everyman, but like that made it kind of. Kevin Smith stayed the everyman. Quentin Tarantino
Yeah.
was like, I used to be an
He became
everyman.
a
Let me tell you
celebrity.
about it. It's blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, cocaine. You know what I mean? He is like I'll defend him a lot, and I love him, and I do like watching interviews with him. But there's always a few times per interview that I'm like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. Like, listen to yourself. He's so full of himself. But I want to run through his entire catalog here. So I'm just gonna run through the whole thing and then we'll discuss. Reservoir Dogs, the shit. Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, Death Proof, Inglourious Bastards, Django Unchained, Hateful Eight, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And he says he's only gonna do one more. He's like, I think he's in his 60s, early 60s, something like that.
Yeah.
I respect this. I really respect it. He says that if you look at most directors, go through their catalog or their filmography, like once they get to a certain age, there's just a dip. And I look at it like this. He wants to be a good story. Like in the future, be like, oh, look, it's like Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't have that, like, oh, that finals that he blew or like whatever. It's just like the perfect story and why he's like, yeah, there is the Wizards, but people forget.
I mean, people know,
right.
People have admitted that. People have admitted know that, we end Jordan's reign at a certain, like, when people talk about Jordan's reign, it's not to get too into it, but it's interesting to, when people refer to Jordan, and it's like universally, I feel like his Wizards era is almost admitted. Like, it's like, he came back for a while, but that wasn't really Jordan. Like, Jordan left.
Forget it.
Yeah. So
his whole story is so perfect that people, it's what it is. It's selective narrative. You kind of do just forget that shit.
But I mean, see, with Tarantino though, like, I get what he's going for, but I wouldn't want him to like hold himself to that. If he's still got ideas past 10 films or whatever, keep going. But maybe I've always thought it was like, is it just like directing he's done with it? Because he's always going to write. I feel like that's something he'll always do, writing scripts. Maybe he'll do some shows,
producing, and that, for sure.
Or because we were just talking about Alex Garland. He's doing that Warfare movie, and he was directing for a while, but he just said like, I'm kind of done directing. I'm just going to go back to writing scripts and stuff like that. So I wonder if that's a little bit more. I don't know. I think I do agree. I think he's going for like a story, an iconic status with this 10 and I'm out deal. Right. But I would hope that he keeps going.
He's 62, by the way. What's your, looking at his filmography again, what would be your favorite if you had to pick a favorite Tarantino film? It's tough because there's so many of them that are like, like so badass. It's so easy to go Pulp Fiction, but I could go Django. I could go Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I could go Kill Bill 1 or fucking 2.
I've always really liked Jackie Brown. The style of that that's grown on me. This, like I said, this is a weird one with me, where it's like, because it's so different than most of his films, I respect that.
Did you like Hateful Eight? What was that? His newest one?
I did.
Hollywood.
That was the one where they're all at the Outlaw Cowboys or at the cabin or whatever. I actually that's a fun one. That's like I don't want to say guilty pleasure one, but I found myself watching that one quite a bit in the last couple of years. Like, it's like, because it's got a fun cast of characters. It's like it's a mystery only once you watch it, but how it all unravels and how they interact, I feel like that's one of his. I don't know. I don't remember too many people going crazy about Hateful Eight when it came out. Like, it made its buzz, but
I think it was because it's another one. It's kind of niche. It's like a play. It's all the
Okay,
one
yeah,
setting. It's 3 hours long or something crazy.
true.
It's
It-
extreme Tarantino dialogue, like to the max, like where there's super drawn out. But oh my god, my cats are they're fighting. They're fighting. Um, uh, but I did like it. But it's one that I kind of see why people wouldn't like. It's just got a weird ass tone, and it's so simple compared to
yeah,
like some bigger
some of his other. What's
kind
your
of.
favorite?
Um, God damn, dude, I would have said Pulp Fiction forever, just
I
because
can
it's so
respect that.
cool, and it's like I said, like to me, it was like a I don't know, it kind of showed me like, oh, there's movies that are like this. I don't know, you know what I mean? It was just like
Yeah,
so above most films that I had seen. But there's something I really, really, really love about Django Unchained and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like and Kill Fucking Bill. It's so hard. But and not I it's so annoying what I'm doing right now. And Reservoir Dogs, because Reservoir Dogs is
yeah,
also super simple in its own right. You know what I mean? It's like in that
yeah.
one place, but it feels different than it's quicker than Hateful
Yeah,
Eight.
and that one, and that's a weird because that one almost feels like very playish well, more so when they're like back at the warehouse and
Right, which
erecting.
is most of the movie.
Yeah, but I always dug that Mister. That's got yeah, that's a great one. I always dug the opening diner scene where Steve Buscemi's talking about how he doesn't tip,
Yeah.
and the window dude's like, "You better fucking tip." The
Isn't it
old
like
dude.
isn't it like Allison Troy, long time no see. What's going on? Greetings. Feel like I haven't seen you in a bit. Glad to see you in the afternoon here. Which by the way, this is for the time being, this is gonna be the new Thursday spot. It's here in the afternoons. Big Stew's normally gonna be here. Had a kid with an earache, so he had to go take care of that. But oh, what were we just talking about? Tarantino. Oh,
Um,
the tipping scene. I don't you think you could take you could take all Tarantino's movies, almost all of them, and replace the cast with the cast of Seinfeld, and it's like it's that similar fucking kind of tone, but just
that
different.
the
Like just the way
yes,
they go back and
the
forth. Like in this one,
bitching
they're like
and
the thing, something about the thing. Oh, the thing. You know the thing?
yeah, I heard of the thing.
A foot
The thing.
massage. A foot massage is fine. You know what I mean? It's so close. You what do you mean he don't tip? Doesn't tip. You know he doesn't tip, Elaine. Doesn't tip. Who doesn't tip?
That, that always reminds me of Brian Michael Bendis. I always feel like he's like the Quentin Tarantino of comics to a degree because it's like the whole. I was reading a Bendis comic yesterday. Actually, they're like, "Hi, hello, my name's Johnny. Johnny, yes, yeah," and it's
Mhm.
just like he does. It's weird how it's like the what do you call it, the syntax
Rhythm.
or
Yeah,
whatever
or
the
like this
structure.
weird, strange rhythm, or yeah, cadence, syntax.
Yes, yeah.
Syntax is the one that sounds the smartest. Let's roll with that.
I
All right.
heard Robbie say that the other day.
All right. So as I told you before we got rolling, I'm with child here, as I'm going to be probably a lot of these Thursday afternoons. She's napping right now, so we've got through the intro. We're fucking good. We're golden. So let's see if she's going to come walking out at some point during this show. But let's get into Planet Terror, man. As I said, first time watch for me, directed by Robert Rodriguez. Rodriguez, I should say. I had first of all for the longest time I didn't know that it was a zombie movie until we did Zombie Fest and I was looking into to them. Sorry, I'm pulling up his
Nathan.
filmography right now. Um Horror comedy, zombie thing, strange tone. I liked it, but I'd be lying if I said I loved it. I wanted to love the shit out of this movie because it's right up my alley. I love zombies. I love horror comedy. I like silly shit too. Like somebody that loses their leg and they strap a machine gun to it is right up my alley. For some reason, it just didn't like fully work for me, even though I really enjoyed it. I wanted to love the shit out of it. But how was the rewatch for you?
The, it was fun. Like I definitely get where you're coming from though, because that's how I was expecting. I don't know because these are I still hold From Dusk to Dawn to high esteem. And I
Yeah.
felt like that had the tone that Planet Terror. It had the comedy, but it was cool as shit at the same time, but kind of
Mhm.
scary. And I felt like that's what Planet Terror was trying to do. I was
Mhm.
like, he's got switchblades, he's saying these cool lines, but it never really lands for me. I mean, I've actually grown. I appreciate his performance now. The main Freddie Rodriguez, I believe
Yeah.
is his name. Um, but like, I get that they're going. It's supposed to be a little cheesy,
Right.
because it's called back to those those 70s days, the Grindhouse features.
It's more like
But
those 70s action films than 70s
yes,
horror films, and I think
yeah,
that's kind of what threw me off. Tarantino, and we'll get into it, I feel like that feels more like a 70s slasher film or
yep,
something like that, and I was kinda hoping not for like a slasher feel, but yeah,
some
more of that
serious.
yeah, something less, less action corny, like, I wanted
Yes.
them to play more with the horror tropes and the action tropes, I guess is what I'm saying, and
No, yeah,
to your
same
point,
here, bro.
Freddie
Oh, sorry.
Rodriguez was my biggest issue with the movie, not that he was bad, but I was just like, I don't know, it could have been I was even looking, I was asking AI, as you know I want to do, of like, give me some other actors from the 2000s that aren't white because I didn't want to take the role away from a Mexican guy or whatever. And I guess to be honest with you, there weren't that many Latin gentlemen that I knew from the era, but a black guy that I thought would have been cool in the role was Donald Faison. Turk from Scrubs. Imagine him in that
Yeah,
role. Someone you can
I,
connect with. No?
I mean, I can't see him being any kind of like an kind
The,
of
the bad boy?
badass. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I
I
just know
but it
he's
would have
so.
been funnier. That's the thing. Is like I didn't like this guy as the badass. When you find out he's like a super spy agent or whatever at the end, or is that what he is? Is that what's going on? He
He
like
they never really give you a definition or like the even I was trying to like piece that I've seen this movie a few times and I was trying to
mhm,
really focus on like his origin because I couldn't look this shit up on YouTube because I'm sure there's someone who's really broke it down,
right,
but
right.
there's nothing in the film that really he's a legend of some sort, you know, and the law knows who he is, but no one really knows what he does or where
He's got
he has his
scars all over his back. And the way I
tattoos and
read it is that like he was this kind of like just a bad kid in the town, just a bad seed. He leaves town, and between then and him coming back, he's Steven Seagal and Under Siege. He's like a Navy SEAL or some shit. Oh, he could do all this shit with guns or whatever. He's been doing something in his off time, which is what. But my point is like when you find that out at the end, like okay, that's why. Because I did rewatch it like that's why he's been talking so serious this time because he is an action star or
yeah,
whatever. But I
yeah,
don't know, man.
I can see that.
I just didn't love him in that role. It was a cool ass
No,
cat, but I could have used a little more from almost everybody. Almost everybody. Even though
yeah,
the whole time, like, oh shit, she's in it, he's in it, Josh Brolin, Bruce Willis. I didn't even know he was in it.
yeah.
So, but you didn't get
You
much
know,
from most of them.
I agree with you. Because there's some. It's just like even when he's like pulling out the switchblades, bro, and like doing backflips in the hospital and slicing up zombies, which I was like, okay, there's that. So you can just stab them in the chest and the heart and they're done. You know,
Right.
like you just slice them in the gut and they're down for the count. Okay. This is it was that's what I'm talking about. Like there's too much style over substance
Yeah.
to the point where it's like, okay, he's doing fucking backflips and stuff, but it's like these are zombies. He's not gonna. If he's a regular dude, yeah, that's cool as shit. That's some like if you were doing that in the raid, amazing, you know.
That's
But with
why
zombies,
that's kind of why, and I get you. I agree with you what you're saying about Donald Faison. But if you think about those like more dramatic moments in Scrubs, I could see him go into some depth. What I was looking for is a character that I could connect with. That's also
I get that.
funny. That would pull me through all those moments. I really feel like that's what it was. If Freddie Rodriguez was, I could connect with him. Is that his name? I hope I'm not messing his
Yeah,
name
I
up.
believe so. I'm pretty
Uh,
sure.
if I could connect to him more, I feel like it would have all that would have landed a little bit better to pull me through to the end. When the
Yeah,
lady's leg goes flying is epic. Is that in Death Proof he's talking about? Yes.
yeah,
What
he's
up,
fast
Six News,
forwarding.
my brother? What up, Rogue? Collecting. Christina Payne. Appreciate you guys being here in the afternoon. You guys are the shit. Sorry, I feel like I cut you off like right when you started giving me your experience on your rewatch. I'm sorry.
No, no, you're good. No, I had fun with this one though. I think I finally was a. I've always had fun with it, but I did. I always wanted a little bit more from this film. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
then this rewatch, I don't know. It was just an easy breeze. Like, you know, I was like, it gets starts to kind of last 20 minutes. I'd say I was kind of like, all right, I
Same.
remember. Let's get to
I didn't even watch the last 20 minutes on my rewatch because I was like, okay, I get the end.
No, yeah,
Which
there's
says a
nothing. Yeah,
lot.
they
Says
make
a
it to
lot.
the beach, but I don't know. I always I don't. Maybe it's a personal thing. I always kind of wanted this to have like the tone or of From Dusk Till Dawn or at least
Hmm.
take itself as serious. But it's still a fun film. It's got some cool shit, some cool performances. It's a popcorn flick. It's just something you throw
Totally.
on, just a background movie.
I look at it. I was trying to think like at the time when I was in my 20s, if I was watching this with my buddies and shit, and just had people over at the house drinking beers, like I think I would I have loved it then is what I was trying to figure
More,
out. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I just don't
yeah,
find it as funny. It has its funny moments when she like breaks her wrist in the door and she's walking around with her Tyrannosaurus Rex arms and shit. That's super funny. This isn't funny, but a scene that was shocking is when the kid shoots himself in the fucking head.
they
It's
went
like,
for that. I remember being like, whoa,
does it
yo,
seem out of
yeah.
place in a movie this silly to have a kid kill himself? It's like, I don't know. I mean, don't get wrong, I'm here for it,
I think that
but
was the director's son as well. Oh, I think
geez.
he was dating Rose McGowan at the time. It's a fun fact. But no, I remember that really caught me off guard. I was like, at first time watching, I'm like, oh, okay,
Right.
like for how many jokes have been played throughout that movie. That was such a like a oh shit,
I know,
that's
that's what I'm
fucked
saying. Like,
up. A
it
gun.
like woke you up. I almost want to rewind it. Like, I was hoping because the dad was there. I was like hoping the dad shot him in the head. It's way more sad and
I almost
stupid.
thought
Also,
that's what
it's like,
happened.
here, hold this fucking gun. I'll be right back. Don't shoot yourself in the head. Turns around. Poof. It's like it's dark. It
See,
was super dark, and the movie doesn't
where
seem that dark.
was the dad in the back seat?
I
Where'd he
don't
come
know.
from? He
I
just
think he
ran
just
out and
popped. Yeah, he's
there's
Josh
a lot of
Brolin.
that going on.
He used the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yo, question. I thought, I almost thought that little subplot between Josh Brolin, and James's father, and I forget her name. But she's
Mary
in so many.
Shelton, who I thought was Heather Graham until I looked it up on Google. The
They do look
blonde from
very similar.
Scream
Yes,
4 and
Sugar
5?
and Spice. I believe she was back in the day. This is like
Mm,
some teen movie. But yeah, I thought their little subplot was one of the more interesting aspects of the movie. Like,
me too.
because he's like this really sinister dude. She's got this nail dart gun and stuff, and she's really good with her needles, her friends, or whatever. That was a really cool line. She's like, "These are my friends,"
Right.
The yellow one takes the sting away. You see the
Very
blue one?
comic book character, right? Like she's got her
Yeah.
little thing she does, little doctor that does shit with needles. Valentine, Sugar and Spice, Never Been Kissed, all Mary
Yes.
Shelton flicks. Thank you,
Oh,
Alex Troy.
Valentine. Was she the main girl in Valentine with my man's David Bronan's the angel
I'm not
Buffy?
sure.
I
I don't
feel like
know.
she.
I always get her mixed up with Heather Graham. They look so
No,
freaking
yeah,
similar, like
very,
especially in
yeah.
this movie. I hadn't seen her in anything this old, like or when she was this young in a minute.
You know what fucked me
But
up?
yeah, the cast, just to mention a couple other people. Oh, I wrote down kind of like Deadpool. Isn't this like the same vibe as a Deadpool movie? But Deadpool films can go to that like make you
That
cry
emotion.
moments and stuff, and
Yeah.
it has that versatility that this one
Yes.
didn't know how to bounce. It tried. It had like the more
Yeah.
serious scenes, but you didn't not like as well as you do with a movie like Deadpool.
I feel like he
Saeed
was
from
too
fucking
lost in.
Lost,
Oh
flipping
yeah.
balls. What was that
Oh.
though?
Oh no, no. I was just gonna say. I think he was too lost in the sauce in this. So he's indulging too much. Like everything is very over the top and too much. Where it's, you know, if I can't help but compare it from Dusk Till Dawn, but
Mhm.
where that's a little bit more restrained, and and here you got gunshots or blood splatters everywhere.
Everywhere,
You guys
everywhere. That's a very
blisters.
Tarantino thing.
No, speaking.
Another just random thought another time that I laughed out loud for whatever reason is old boy on the mini bike. When he gets on that mini bike, he's like going to save the day or something. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I wish they would have leaned into that more. Like either
More,
that
yeah.
or either have the restraint and do the balance where you have the real drama and the weirdness or whatever, or just go full fledged and give me more, make it a movie where a girl is shooting a machine gun out of her leg and to make it
Because
feel like
yeah,
that the entire time.
you could tell that like that he was trying to make it too. I felt like the film was trying to be too cool at certain points
Mhm,
instead of just some. The whole pocket rocket bit was hilarious. Like you said, I would have
mhm.
appreciated more of that instead of like I mean, he did do Desperado, and I get Antonio Banderas was a kind of silent in that one, not really as much as I feel like it was a callback to that character almost, Freddie
Mm.
Rodriguez in this movie, because he's like this mysterious, I forget what they call him. It was almost like I know they did that movie. It was like they did what's it called? El Rey. There was a movie he did. It was kind of like Evil Dead 1 and 2, where it's like Desperado. The
Hmm.
second, his
Oh,
commercial
oh,
film was a remake of his very first film.
I know what you're talking about. But yeah, I'm drawing a blank on it too.
But no, yeah, if they would have, I still fun film, but yeah, if they would just dial back a little bit, or just kind of punched in more with the
El
humor.
Mariachi, thank you,
El
Six Deuce.
Mariachi, yes,
Six Deuce saying these movies are more along the lines of a low budget drive-in type, like Gruesome Twosome or Roger Corman movies, which are the
I
ones
could
that
definitely see that.
that's what I'm less familiar with from the era. Like I know I get it.
Yeah,
I understand like those movies. There's a I guess I was gonna say Duel, but that's more like Death
do.
Proof. Duel, Steven Spielberg's first film. Um, dun, 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 look at here. Savini was in it. Just to go. Kyle fucking Reese, Michael Bean from
Great
Terminator
cast,
1 and
great.
Aliens 2. That was one thing that was cool about it. The whole time. Like, oh my god, I can't believe all these people that are in this that I had never heard of. The fact that she finds this ring in her jacket that she'd been wearing around for what seems like maybe a decade. Who
Years,
knows how long?
yeah.
Years, definitely years. And she's like, "Oh, in this pocket right here, there's a bulky ring
No,
case." And
no,
she's
the
like,
other pocket. Did you even
"Yeah,
check the pockets? I looked for my jacket for 2 weeks. I didn't get the rant part. I was like, okay, bro, we get it. 2 weeks, 2 weeks.
yeah."
Yes, yes. You took your jacket and you were looking for 2 weeks.
I do
Um,
feel like I might have been missing something. Like, yeah, what's that? He did the music too. Unless I just saw that in the credits, but I
did
was like, "Oh shit!"
yeah.
I didn't rewind to double check. But is that what you saw too? Robert
I
Rodriguez did the music.
I think I'm pretty sure he does. He's like carpenter where he does the music for most his films,
Great.
if not all of them.
The music was
But
really, really good.
yeah, definitely gave me like fucking old school Carpenter vibes.
Mm,
It was made for TV movie. Oh
I
wow.
think we all have a copy of this one. This was a
Yeah, I never even heard of
Scarpad
that
special.
before.
Thanks, Scarpad. Appreciate you, big guy. Says Duel
So
was a
that
made
that was his
TV
first
movie
film.
and a predecessor to Jaws. Duel was a truck on land, and Jaws was a shark in the water. Yeah, they even use the same song at the end of Duel. Spoiler alert: this truck goes off a cliff, and they use this certain like animal noise. And when you see Jaws come up in Jaws, they use that same exact sound from Duel and
Are
put
they
it in.
part of the same universe?
They might be.
Like
Um,
these
uh,
two movies?
Rodriguez says anything, does everything, just like a Sin City. That is what I'm saying. Like he does a lot. Didn't he do like Spy Kids too? Right?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
not
I
number two, but
love
also.
it's so weird because I grew up on like Spy Kids 1 and 2, and I haven't really watched the newest one, but my kid loves the newest one, and I'm just like,
Oh,
bro, I
really?
can't get him to watch the OGs yet because they don't have superpowers.
Did he do the
But
newest one? It looks like he did too. He did do the newest one, didn't he?
yeah, yeah. And We
Yep.
Are Heroes. I feel like that takes place in the same universe as the Spy
Hmm.
Kids, but I could be wrong.
He has done a ton. You're not kidding. Yeah, once upon a time in Mexico. Another one. He was part of the Four Rooms. The Faculty is
Oh
honestly
yeah,
probably my favorite movie that he did. Sin City
yes.
could probably, because I haven't seen that in like
I
20
love,
years, but I loved Sin City when
bro.
it came out. But
That's
it's been forever. And Desperado. Like I was a huge Desperado fan when
I
it
think
came out.
it's
Oh, and
been
From Dusk Till Dawn. So actually, scratch that. From Dusk Till Dawn would be my favorite film by Rodriguez.
I do, yeah. But you know what? I Sin City is iconic for me. Like that, I remember that. I think it's coming up on a year, or just past, or 20 years. That it's 2005. I remember that. But I remember seeing that in high school and being blown away. Like, why can't all films be this creative? Like, because
Right.
I hadn't really. I'd always known of Sin City, but I hadn't read it yet. And in high school, I'd seen it. Always seen it in like Wizard magazine, or I'd see like issues of it when I'd go to the comic store. I just never dabbled in it, so I wasn't familiar with the story.
Mhm.
But I'm thinking like the movie. I was like, Jesus, this is just a noir story with all these like cool little visuals. I'm like, why can't it was made. The budget wasn't expensive at the time when they shot that film.
Sin City wasn't? I would assumed it was just from looking at it.
No,
Mm.
no, bro. That's one thing. Another thing Rodriguez has always been good about is like shooting with a moderate. He's got almost got like that. I think that's why him and Tarantino get along so well, is because they still kind of have that. Even though they're some big ass celebrities and they have that indie filmmaker spirit to a degree, I guess. So they remember
Mhm.
those. They just love filmmaking.
Right.
But
They have an indie feel. They might do big studio stuff, but I feel like they have the control. It still has a indie vibe or whatever.
vibe, yeah, yeah. Oh shit, he did the lead of Battle Angel. That's definitely probably not his best film, but I did like that
What
one.
about Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
That was solid. Not as good as the Spy Kids, though. Not as good as the Spy Kids.
All right. So we got it. We got another film to get to, and who knows? This kid is still sleeping. So far, so good. We're doing really good here. So let's go ahead and rate Planet Terror and jump into Death Proof.
All right. I'll kick us off. You know what? You know, I'll give this one a solid 4. I think this is a fun film. Like, this is the most I've ever appreciated it.
Mhm.
This is just like a movie. You're like, if you enjoy zombies, you enjoy some action. It's nothing too serious. It's almost like watching expendable movies to me, where it's like none of that
Mm.
stuff is ever really truly that amazing. I think all those action stars have done better projects, but it's like, hey, they're all in one movie. There's a cool
Right.
factor to that. There's a cool factor to seeing all these random actors doing crazy roles, and you got Tarantino's balls melting off. You got some cool
Right.
visuals and stuff, but
Doesn't he
it's not that.
him and why am I forgetting his name? Eli Roth. Him and Eli Roth, they're too good at playing scumbags. It's like,
Yeah.
you might be a fucking scumbag, man. You're so good at
Yeah.
it. What the
I
fuck?
don't really think there's much acting going on right now. But yeah, I think this is a fun one. I could definitely understand. I Sorry, someone's car alarm's going
Oh,
off.
you're good.
Uh, I think before this rewatch, I would have marked it at like a 3.5. You know,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it. I really appreciated Rose McGowan's performance. To be honest,
Me
like,
too, which I'm glad you mentioned. We didn't really mention her enough, but she's
yeah,
great. I haven't
fantastic.
seen her in enough shit, man. Just Scream, really. And
Really,
yeah.
check out this movie called Jawbreaker, bro. Like
Mm.
90s, like it's like a not dark it's a dark comedy. Um, I didn't really watch much of her in Charm, to be honest. I don't try. I know Charm has its following, but no,
Mhm.
Rose McGowan is fantastic because there's a lot like Freddie Rodriguez. Unfortunately,
Yeah, it said
oh
Rodriguez
wow.
shot the majority of Sin City in his backyard, in his garage. All of Sin City. That's
You
insane.
know the opening scene with Josh Hartnett on the rooftop or whatever, and the mom with the needles in this one, the girl in the red dress. They that was the test footage that he shot to show like
Okay,
producing can get this project off the ground, and so they're like, yeah, we like where this is going, and so he just included that as the opening to the movie.
that's
But
cool.
no, yeah, I want to say real quick about Rose McGowan. Like Rodriguez, his shit, he wasn't terrible, but his obviously not all his stuff didn't land. Like there's like a I don't know, something very laid back about McGowan where she this role could have easily been just as cheesy and corny, but she played this so like she was sexy, funny,
Mhm.
badass all in one, like when she
You
needed to be.
you connect
So
to her. I wish she was.
yes.
I wish they either leaned into it being her story, or lean into it being the doctor's story. Make it like
Ooh,
these,
yeah.
if it was made today, it sure as shit would be. It would be. They'd be lesbians. They would be. Well, fucking Mary Shelton was a lesbian,
Yeah,
but
that was good. They had that. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. This was I'm not thinking about my bad. I was going to go on a Josh Brolin tangent that has nothing to do with this, but he was in a lot of movies around this time, and he didn't get big until a few years later,
Right.
where it just popped in my head.
All right. So a 4 from you. We got a 4 agreeing with you is our brother Six Deuce in the chat saying Planet Terror is a 4. It does nail the time period and took it over the top. And I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5, and I think it's kind of what we said earlier. Is I just on a first watch, I did watch it again this morning. Fucking that
No, but still,
it doesn't
yeah,
even half
it's
count.
fresh.
I sit there with my kid while she's playing puzzles. I have headphones on the floor. It's not the best viewing experience, but it I just wanted a little bit more from, like I said, all the characters. I wanted a little bit more, and another like thing on it. I don't know. This is what I felt. Didn't it feel like it was edited more like a 2000s movie? And it had all the grime and everything, and it was like had all these certain 70s things. But that one, I think Tarantino did a better job. But that film felt like a 2000s movies in a lot of ways to me.
It's weird that you bring that up because I don't ever. I remember people complaining about the film grain, and it never bothered me. I think it was because people were saying like it's a cool gimmick for the theater experience, but it's not gonna age well because it's not gonna be like watching it on. They back then they were still doing. I mean, what are they theaters? Do they still do print mostly, or is it mostly digital? But it's
Oh, I assume it's mostly digital. Well, what I'm saying is more that like it didn't. Those two, I didn't have a problem with the film grain. It was just that it felt like it was film grain put on a 2000s movie,
yeah,
where
yeah,
Tarantino felt like a 70s movie more. The way it was shot,
yeah.
the way it was shot and edited, like I couldn't tell. I was like, oh, is this because this is more like an action grindhouse movie than a horror grindhouse movie? Because it didn't have like the long drawn out shots that I think of when I think of 70s cinema.
Okay. I'm not too familiar in that
Right. Me
genre or
neither,
era. So.
honestly. With that specific, with what this is doing is what I'm not as familiar with. But a 3.5 with, as you like to say, with definite room to grow. I could see it. Like I said, if I would have grown up with this, I think I would have liked it a lot more. And I'm always
Yeah,
of the mind to say, like, with like comedies age better with multiple viewings. Like
yeah.
silly shit. I always like I could watch Don't Be a Menace to Society any fucking day and it gets sillier. You know what I mean? The sillier,
And
the better.
there's some fun bits with the side characters, like the whole battle between Michael Bean and his brother about the barbecue recipe. I thought that was actually one of my favorite scenes. Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
wish,
yeah. The
yeah, see, I did like that. There was nuggets there. Like, I
mhm.
wish they could have done a little more with that. Those two brothers, like, there was stuff there. By the way, that was the pilot from Lost. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy with these gorgeous blue eyes? That's
No,
the,
that was he's the. Oh my
you
God,
know what
he
I'm
had
talking
this.
about?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Six Deuce saying Rogue. I didn't know this. Or Rogue collecting got blacklisted by the Weinsteins. No,
What?
Rose got blacklisted for a long time due to Weinstein before anyone called him out. So that's it. I had never heard that. Like they had some kind of shenanigans going on. It's always fucked up when you say this is a Weinstein production. Those
And
Weinstein.
if most of Rodriguez and Tarantino's films he backed.
Oh yeah, the
And he was
majority of them.
definitely. I wonder if he. No, I don't ever need to know, but I'm wondering, like you were saying, like certain directors play assholes so much, or certain people play asshole too convincingly. Like I don't know with Rodriguez, it's like I know he was dating Rose McGowan around this time, and I'm like wondering if he was like, no, yeah, go ahead, shoot your shot at my girl, or if he's just, or if maybe Weinstein was that much of a slime fucking ball that shoot a shot behind Rodriguez's back. Who knows
It
how that
almost
played.
feels like Eli Roth and Tarantino are playing their version of Weinstein in these movies. I don't know, just like
I
both
could
like
see that.
so scummy. Six Deuce saying if you had ever been to a drive-in, the prints were sent from theater to theater. Everyone fingered it up, had all kinds of cunts and jumps and plus people would like cut
Yeah.
certain places would get these reels, but we're not showing that in my cinema, and they would cut out like certain scenes and shit like that. So
See, the only thing that was kind of stood out to me this time was like the specifically Planet Terror was the film grain. It felt more gimmicky than it had never really felt before. Like I was like, yeah, it's a 70s film, but like you said, I think the tonality difference is because it feels like it's a 2000s movie with
right.
the film grain. Just kind of it's like an Instagram photo effect.
I
We're gonna
bet it
shoot the movie
stood
this
out
way.
less. Sorry, I bet it stood out
You know?
less then because when you're in that
Yeah,
era, you don't even really know what that 2000
exactly.
style is when you're in it.
Yep.
But all right, man. So a 3.5 from me, a 4 from you for Planet Terror. Let's jump into the next one.
Sure.
Quentin Tarantino. Can't believe this was my first time watching this movie. I don't really know exactly why. Other than that, I had never heard not that I had never heard anything good about it. I had always heard from most people that it's cool, but it's probably his worst
Fantastic.
film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I would, after watching it, I would say I kind of agree with that. And I would say that I also agree with exactly what you had alluded to earlier. The first half of the movie, I'm way into it. I'm like, this is pretty badass. Although I will say, I'm like, this is his worst cast. Up until that point, it's a
That,
solid
yes.
cast. It's strong. When Kurt Russell gets more involved, it's at its peak. Like once he starts
He
interacting with that one brunette chick with the lips,
lips.
they all had lips, but this one had something special about her lips. I think it's really, really good. And I even wrote in my notes, like, I'm way fucking into this. Like, because I wasn't sure that I would be. I was like, really, really enjoying it. Then when it switches casts and you got to start over again. And to me, that's always the worst part of most movies. Like, okay, we got to introduce you to everyone. It's like, fuck, it's not
Get
just one
invested.
person. It's not just like, oh, we're going to do the psycho thing. We're going to kill the main character, which is, remember in Hostel when Eli Roth did that in Hostel 1, they kill the main character?
Yeah. Well, they killed him at the beginning of 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, at the beginning of 1, like he's not even the main character of 1 until halfway through it. That guy, the Mexican dude. There's
Yeah.
the
Who
white
was?
guy is really like set up as the main character at the beginning of Hostel 1, and then they kill him. You're like,
Oh,
whoa,
and
what
then
the
he
fuck?
gets.
He just
Yeah.
becomes
Yeah.
that. Anyway, I guess that was Tarantino's idea then. He's like, you got to do the psycho thing. No one's done it well and since.
Yo.
So that's what I feel like he's doing. He's like, I'm not just going to kill my main character. I'm going to kill my entire cast. And it's like,
Yo.
I
Sorry, you
respect
hear
him, but
me?
I don't think he sticks that landing.
Yeah, what's interesting, real quick, but I completely forgot about that scene of Hostel where it's like you got buddy with that German dude, and then the German dude is the one who, like, I was like, that's so messed up. That made me say, trust, what trust? But it's interesting about the cast because something I did notice up on this rewatch was like the second cast, the ones who survive are her ones who survive, and
Mhm.
um, it's oddly enough they're the bigger tier of. They've gone on to have more success than the first half of the
What
cast.
is
Like,
why am I forgetting her name? Oh, Rosario Dawson.
oh
She's the
yeah,
one
like
I
she's
know.
such
The
a big
other, do you know the other ones? The two I think are actual stunt drivers.
Elizabeth Winstead is Mary. She was the one in the cheerleader outfit. She was 10 Cloverfield Lane. Scott Pilgrim with the blue hair. She's been in so
I
much
didn't know.
shit.
Okay, I didn't even recognize her, bro. Okay, she's like my
Yeah,
wife's favorite. She always calls her. That's my girl. What's her name? I'm
yeah.
sorry. What'd you say her name was?
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Her and Ian McGregor actually got married not too long ago.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
met
okay.
him.
And I love her in 10 Cloverfield Lane. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at her now. I did not even recognize that was her.
The the Zoe, the Australian stunt girl. I know she's a real stunt woman, and I know
Right.
she's done a lot of stunts in movies. Um, the black, well, Rosario Dawson's black as well. I was gonna say the
Zoe Bell
black
is who you're
chick,
talking about.
Zoe Bell. Yeah, I know I've seen her in some other. I think I've seen her in a show and a couple other movies, but it's been more recent than the first half because, like you said, the girl with the lips, and then Julia
Really?
Jungle. I've never seen her in anything else. Jungle Julia, and then I do remember the chick with the lips. I seen her in this movie called um, The Man or something. It had Tommy Lee Jones where he was playing like a sheriff or a ranger that had to protect. It was a comedy, but he had to protect a bunch of like cheerleaders from. So that came out in 2005, oddly enough. Seen her in a few other things, but yes, second half, I definitely noticed they went on to have a more successful career.
That's interesting. Well, here's what I'll say about like I said, I was into the first half. The kill, we can dive a little bit deeper into that, but like
Oh,
the
okay.
first crash scene, fucking sick, super gnarly. So I'm like, this is amazing. I'm like, oh, and I love the concept. You just killed your whole cast. I'm with you. I'm with you so far. Introduced to the new cast. And I just thought, not that they were terrible. Here's what I think happened. He's like, we're gonna we're going to get real stunt people that can act. We're going to have them do my dialogue and people are going to fucking love it. We're going to do some cocaine and then we're going to have them do the crazy stunt. And people are going to be, oh my God, that's the real, it's like Tom Cruise. That's the real actors on the real car. And it's amazing. And I did, like when they do the stunt, I'm like, okay, I get what's been going on. Because all the way up until that point where she's on the front of the car, I'm like, dude, this Australian chick is not good. Like she was taking me out of the movie. It was like Tarantino, I don't think that did them any favors by not doing his best dialogue when they did their diner scene, like the Reservoir Dogs diner scene, and it went on forever. I'm like, this is not interesting, and the acting isn't that great, other than Rosario Dawson, who I thought was terrific in it. Everybody else was okay, they were fine, but just not up to the level of what you're used to seeing in a Tarantino movie. You know what I mean? Compared to his other casts.
Yeah, and I'm curious. I just kind of thought of it. I got to think more on it, but I almost wonder if the difference is because in the first half of like with their hangout scene, we see stuntman Mike preying on them, interacting with them. Like the problem with the second half is that we see stuntman Mike stalk them from afar, but he never interacts with them until he starts assaulting them. You know, so it's just like, okay, you see them and you just attack instead of do this whole cat and mouse game where you know, the first half was really interesting. It's like, okay, you're like lulling your victims into a false sense of security and
right.
I don't know.
It has some more horror moments, and when you get that stalking, to your point, I was like, oh shit, like this feels more like a horror movie than Planet Terror. I'm like, this is when she looks out and sees his car for the first time, Rose or no, whoever the fuck it is, the girl with the lips, the girl with the lips. I'm so sorry, people. There's too many female characters. I'm looking through trying to figure out which one that is. I don't know. Well, the one with the lips, the cute, the really sexy one, kind of the main character in the first half. It's really scary. I thought. I'm like, this is the scariest scene that I've ever seen Tarantino shoot. When she's looking out and seeing that car. And there's a couple other like really like horror moments, and then I feel like you kind of lose that. The second half of the movie becomes like a 70s revenge flick. With fun and humor injected into it. And it's like, I don't know. The other thing is like, okay, after he's killed the cast and we got that crazy scene, I'm like, we just met the new cast. I'm like, clearly he's going to do something. He's subverting our expectations. We're thinking, okay, now we're going to see him kill them. And they did, but it wasn't better than the first kill. You know what I mean? It wasn't better than the first half of the movie. And that is no bueno.
I think because like this is where I think of it, like in terms of sticking landings, I think they both just had both directors kind of missed that boat, but they were just having fun. Was because at the end of the day, stuntman Mike wasn't this crazy. He was a pussy, you know, like he was acting like he wanted to be that, but that really wasn't him. Because
screaming at the end.
That was hilarious, by the way.
He played a badass villain when they made the turn. I thought that was a fucking brilliant line. He's like, well, I was hoping you were going right because I'm going left and you weren't going to have to start getting scared for a while, but now you're going to get scared right now. But that's brilliant. Now. That was so badass. Everything up to that point.
And I love that first half of there was a lot of cocaine involved because that first half of the film is so different from the rest of the film. Like I love the lines, you know, where he's like, when I told you this car is death proof, I was being serious. Right. But in order to get the effects on this, you really gotta be on my side. Hits the fucking brakes. He did such a visceral like.
I want to see another movie with him in it. I want to see a comic book series on Stuntman Mike, or just more. You know what I mean? More of him. That's what I'm saying. I need more like backstory or anything like that necessarily. Although in this, I feel like you do need something about Stuntman Mike. There's not enough.
Because for instance, when he's in the hospital and the nurse with the needles,
Lips was her too. I'm missing some of these comments. I'll go back to get one. Just caught my eye. She's
Lips wasn't. But when she's talking to her dad, and the sheriff is talking about how he believes his students. He's like, you know, the only difference is he used his car instead of a gun. But those, you know. Obviously, I wanted to know like how many people has he been in a car accident with up until this point where he's killed everybody. It's like enough to make the sheriff think this dude's doing this on purpose. You know, I can't pin it on him because it's a car accident, but I think he's using his car to murder people, these car accidents to murder people. I did, why did he take this turn? I mean, you could obviously I'm trying not to make a really dark connection. But he was a guy who grew up with no luck for women and had been obviously spurned. That's what I got. And he kind of grew up and molded this facade for himself where he got the badass scar. He was a stunt man and all this shit maybe he thought was cool. And, even then he wasn't cool because they were still kind of clowning him, especially in the beginning, like Jungle Julie and them. Like he was like, hey, even Rose McGowan, she's playing two characters. She called him like icy hot. Then it's like when she's getting a ride home, she's like, you're gonna get him late, and she's like embarrassed to even insinuate that she might fuck him. She's like, I'm not gonna fuck him,
I can hear you.
Yeah, he never had any luck. So he's a spurned man.
I dig it.
Yeah, Kurt Russell's amazing in anything though. I was just gonna say I really enjoyed him in this, but you put Kurt Russell in anything, it's hard not to love him.
That's what I wish that this would have been bigger for his sake.
Yes.
Like, I just wish that I feel like they didn't do that character justice. Like, not that he could have died the way he died at the end. There's just, I don't know, we're lacking something to make him. He should be like more of an iconic character. I'd never heard the word stuntman Mike put together before. You know what I mean? I feel like that should be something that's in the fucking lexicon because the character was so cool.
Have you heard about Stuntman Bob?
No, is that his cousin? Was that his dad?
His brother.
His brother. Stuntman Mike says the chick on the car hood is actually stunt lady Zoe Bell. I don't remember her in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I believe you that she's in it though.
Yeah, she was.
I didn't think she was bad, but it did. I'll just say that it made total sense to me when I realized she was a stunt woman. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it's been. And plus, that diner scene was just too long. Like that just like killed the momentum of the movie. And then when they go back and they're like get in the car, all that dialogue back and forth just wasn't very fucking cool or interesting. It was like a lot of bullshit when they were picking up the white car. And then they leave their friend. Just like they get this guy all horny, like, yeah, she does porn. Enjoy her. We'll be back. Like, what the fuck?
It was a hilarious scene when Rosario Dawson's going up to talk to him. I know he's like always in a bunch of Adam Sandler movies, but she's like, my friend would like to purchase or would like to take your car out for a test drive. He's like, is that the colored girl? She's like, yes, that is the girl of color. And I'm saying that they're like cracking up because Rosario Dawson is black herself. So it was just like, but that was hilarious.
She delivers that line really well too. Like,
she's like,
yeah,
yes.
She's pretty cool about it, pretty understanding. She's like, I don't have time to deal with this right now, and I'm not going to school this guy too much. I'm trying to think. Please.
I want to say it was like progressive, but this was in 2007, not before Hollywood had a focus on trying to be more equal, and so it's for Tarantino. This is, he's always had a fascination for women, but besides Jackie Brown, I don't know. This was a movie, where but full cast of girls where they're not. Some of them are victims, but this is like they're empowered by the end. They fucking chased him down at the end. They could have fucking like he let us go. We're gonna no, bro, come get that shit. Come get this asshole.
That might be part of the problem. I don't think that I could be wrong. This is just what I was thinking last night. Is I don't know that he knows as well how to maybe even cast women or write for women as well. I feel like he wrote the women just like the one and I'll just call her what she is. What the one of the girls. He basically wrote her dialogue like she was Samuel L. Jackson. Like I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh, yes, Jungle Julie. I think that if I'm getting it right, I'm like
curly hair.
He knows one way to write a black person, and it's
a
like
bunch of black men, a whole motherfucking white man that just had fun adoring my ass. Yeah, that's right. That reminded me of like some Samuel Jackson, dialogue.
There's another bit too where she goes on this long rant. She's like, I don't know, I don't remember the line, but regardless, I don't know. As much as I did enjoy it, I do think it was his worst script, his worst cast, and his worst movie. The other one I would say his next in line, the only one I would compare it with would be Hateful Eight, and I like that quite a bit more than this. Not that this was bad. I still like it, but everything we've said about it. First half, great. Second half, not good. I really didn't like the second half at all.
I think that it was just him trying to blend it. It was like an amalgamation of like, because it is. It's the first half is a slasher flick, and then like you said earlier, the second half it becomes a revenge flick. And it could have been cool, but we didn't. It's like I think the problem is like you build up this cool. Stuntman Mike's kind of mysterious up to the first half of the film, and then it's like once he pulls off his first kill, he's in the background again. We don't see him. To be honest, we see him, but we get no dialogue from Kurt Russell.
You see him stalking, and you're right. You feel like, oh, this is about to become his movie now.
Yeah.
And then you're like, nope, we're going to introduce all these people that aren't as good at acting as all the people you've met so far, other than Rosario Dawson. It's like, oh, you are killing me. We have Allison Choicer and Tarantino relied too much on the we could do cuts and remove parts and didn't feel the need to make sure both pieces work together. Spot on.
Yep.
Spot on. All right, let's go. Ooh, Six Deuce saying the audience is never invested in anyone in the cast of Death Proof. Definitely, maybe Lips for a little bit there. We are just observers and takes you right out of it. Yeah, I'm with you, especially that second half. Other than Rosario Dawson, I'll just say one more time.
And I don't know, man. Even though the second half of the cast are bigger, it's like, like you said, I'm more invested in the first, at least Jungle Julia and Lips. I'm invested in them. I never really, even though I love Rosario Dawson's probably the one I connect to the most out of the new cast, but it's like they're all fine, but like, I don't know, but like Mary Elizabeth Winstead just kind of in the background, to be honest. She doesn't have much to do. Zoe Bell, she's just being a stunt lady, and
she's doing most of the fucking talking though. I feel like she's doing a lot of the dialogue, and it's fine, but it's just not. There's something off about it. There's something like not as good as what you're used to.
It takes
a lot to do all that dialogue heavy shit and make it work, especially that one shot thing in the diner.
I did like I probably Rosario Dawson and what's the black chick's name? The other black chick. So I'm not calling her. No disrespect.
I had it right here. Tracy Thomas, I think.
Okay.
Tracy Thomas, the other stunt woman.
Yeah, I liked. She had some. I could see her being more. Her and had some very. And Jungle Julia had some very Samuel Jackson line deliveries.
Right.
Attitude. I like Tracy's attitude in this one. She was. She was badass. Zoe, there's something about. Zoe, I don't think she's not an actress. This might have been her first film. So there's something a little annoying about her line delivery, where it's like I like Tracy because she was like quippy and witty and badass, but she was still like when Zoe fell off the car and they thought she might have died when Stuntman Mike was chasing him. Like she started to she pulled out the gun at his ass. But, yeah, hi guys. She jumped up. That was actually funny. I'm okay. But when Tracy started to tear up a little bit, she said, "Oh, you bitch!" Like she seemed the most real. Even though I think I'm just picking Rosario Dawson because I've always had a crush on her. But
I feel I'm with you because her Rosario Dawson. I think she did her performance and her line delivery, especially at certain moments. I'm like, she's a great actress. I'm like, no wonder she got as big as she's super charming. Like she's super charming. But like also like her character wise, when she's like, "Oh, we're gonna go get revenge. Let's kill him," and she's in the back seat with these stunt drivers that are driving all crazy, and she's not afraid at all. She's totally gun ho, no seatbelt on, big smile on your face.
And,
I don't believe that. But here I'm glad I remember this, dude. Do you know what was going on with the scene at the bar where Kurt Russell and he's like doing some weird shit for a minute? And it's like,
he was gonna sneeze. I think it was a sneeze. Yeah,
he had a sneeze coming on, and it was like he started looking up because he's trying to look for a light because he's light sensitive. Some people, I'm one of them, light can make you sneeze, right? Yeah. So I'm like, they never go back to it. I'm like, that was the weirdest fucking thing. Like,
I think that was trying to give us like, his like I was saying earlier, like trying to put together his backstory. Obviously, he was a dude with triggers or something, that obviously some people or that or ticks, should I say,
Mhm.
a tick. And in high school, high school is a brutal place. Let's be honest. Anytime you get nervous or you see a light and you're gonna sneeze, so someone, it's easy to get made fun of in high school, for damn
Right.
near any reason, So I'm
Right.
wondering if that he got bullied. He was bullied a lot. That's what I think his backstory was. He was a dude who was constantly bullied, always wanted to be the cool guy to get the girls, never achieved that. So he molded himself into like the image of what he thought was cool, or what was cool when he was when he was younger. That's what bagged,
He
because
might
he's
even
a
put those scars on his face. That's why he keeps
cut
on
himself.
asking. It goes along with the why he keeps saying, like, "Do I scare you?" Like he's
Hmm.
hoping that he's scared. Do I
He
scare you?
likes
Do you
that.
find me intimidating?
Yeah, even with the car, because remember he's walking Rose McGowan up to it. She's like, Jesus Christ. He's like, yeah. He's like, I wanted to go for intimidating. Usually scary
Right.
intimidates people. So yeah.
It's another line I like. Do I scare you? It's like, no, it's your car. It's like, I
Hmm.
understand. I
That's a
understand.
great scene between
Me
the
too.
two of
That
them,
that was
bro.
the shit. I think that was the peak of the movie. That's
Hmm.
exactly. I'm with you 100%. Allison Troy is saying, for me, the issue with both movies and Grindhouse was I was way more interested in Machete, Don't, and Thanksgiving than the other two movies we got. It was more of a theatrical experience than complete movie. I mean, I did watch it like that with this here Blu-ray where they put the
Trailers
trailers where they're supposed to be and everything. I don't know if I just missed it, but Hobo with a Shotgun was
was
not
not.
on here, and I've read that it
Yeah.
is. It's another one that don't was I think what do you think the best trailer is? Did you rewatch them for this or
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. I actually I liked Thanksgiving a lot. Just there
yeah,
was
I
some
mean
great
that is fucking
screenshots.
great. Yeah.
Even though I don't really care for the movie much. But it was weird how many movies got made from these faux trailers,
Isn't it?
bro. Machete got 2 movies. Hobo with the Shotgun got a movie. I liked Don't though. Don't was
Don't
quite
was the
catchy
funniest one. It was Edgar Wright, by the
when you
way.
think
I had
about
to
it.
look it up.
No shit.
Yeah, right. And the
Wow,
Rob
Edgar Wright's
Zombie
a
one
man.
was funny too. It was just cool to see Sherry
Nicolas
Moon and Bill
Cage.
Moseley and yeah, Nicolas Cage. It was a good idea, and like it helps sell the whole thing. It's like, yeah, we're definitely not taking this very seriously.
Serious, yeah.
Six News saying search feet Tarantino on YouTube after this and watch the video. Hilarious about how much Tarantino shows his feet fetish. And we get it in this. Like right off the bat. I think
Let's
there's
you know
feet
what?
in the
I'm
opening
curious.
scene.
I want to know if I feel I would put good money on that he rewrote that scene in From Dusk Till Dawn where he sucks
Oh, for
liquor
sure.
off Some Hayek's feet. He was like, rewrite,
Now
and
does
just put
now
that in.
I was thinking about this last night. Does he actually suck her toes? Or does he just drink the like does he actually physically like put her feet in his mouth? I don't think so. I
I
hope not. I
I
think he
think
just
he
drinks the
did.
champagne.
I don't
Chat,
think he
let me know.
sucked. Yeah, but I definitely think he put the feet in her.
There was contact?
Yeah, there was contact. My man, he is definitely sucked on some toes or
Oh, for
something, bro.
sure.
Even if he didn't do it in the movie. Um, yeah. His one fucking horror movie, and that's the most gruesome body limb we see is the fucking the leg and the foot flying
I
off.
would love to see him do because he said he's gonna do one more movie after Once Upon a Time, but that's his like finale. He said what he envisions his next project being will be something much smaller. And I'm thinking like do a fucking slasher, do a horror movie, but
Yes,
like do a
actually.
full-fledged, it doesn't need to be something that's gonna mesh well with another movie like this one, or you know what I mean, this whole idea. Just do it its own thing, whatever you can come up with. I would love to see
The,
Tarantino do
there
horror.
was even though I appreciate about it, but it's like it's almost too much of homages going on. Like, I get what you're going for, but it's like they
Mhm.
both, even both Planetary and Death Proof, become lost in the aspect of like we're trying to evoke 70s, we're trying to evoke films from this instead of being their own thing, or like
Totally.
I'm not articulating it well enough, but
No, no,
you get what
I think going back to what I said at the beginning of this, how I feel like, and I could be wrong, that like some film snobbery type people kind of look down on Tarantino. And I
yeah.
do think that's partially what it is some people can see more how much it is he's just nodding to other shit and referencing other movies. And it's maybe even cooler when you don't even realize what he's doing. But some people are like, well, that's that, and that's that, and that's that. But
Where's the
even like
originality?
Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill, and it's like it's part of
Yes,
his career, less so
yes.
in Reservoir Dogs, maybe. But once that's like his thing, is that doing nods to everything.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. I feel like Pulp Fiction might be his. Even that's probably some crazy film he was inspired by that I've never heard of or seen. But I feel like that's his most original
Mm. I could
idea.
see that because I mean, not everything, but even like Django. Think Django Unchained. At the end scene, Jamie Foxx on the ground shooting all these bullets. Do you remember like? Well, I guess they do the same thing in fucking Kill Bill. All these bad guys come filing out in line and line up
They
along
get
the
mowed.
balcony. You know what I mean? They do the same thing in Kill Bill, and there's something just very like, oh, this is clearly a movie. People never
Supposed
would
to be
do that in
style.
real life, but it
Yeah.
is. It's like he's doing it on purpose, but it's like, oh, this is a movie. I guess that's what it is. He's constantly reminding you that you're watching a movie. It's like that.
So I haven't seen too many westerns. Have you? Like I've seen
I went
modern westerns,
I
but
went
not.
on a kick like last year where I watched quite a few. I watched Django. I watched a lot of the movies that inspired a lot of Tarantino movies, and I
So
was like, "Holy shit!" Now I get it. Honestly, it
what
was like
is?
all I could think of was Tarantino when I was watching the Sergio Leone, like uh Clint Eastwood movies, and then a few of them from the era,
What is that era? Is it like 70s?
60s.
He's 60s. Okay.
It's
Okay.
like the original Italian films, not original Italian films, but like huge influential before they influenced horror so much in the 70s.
Hmm.
It was the westerns, the spaghetti western of the
Okay.
60s, those Italian western movies that are that's where you're getting a lot of that zoom shit, zooming in on the eyes. That's all Sergio Leone, those
Okay.
whip
Yeah.
hands and all that. Like so much of the aesthetic comes from that, which was it's cool shit. I really do recommend like going on a kick. Just check out Django and the Dollar Trilogy. Da-da-da.
Okay.
All
All right.
right, let us. I can't believe Madison is still sleeping. This has went so fucking well. Let us go ahead and rate this bad boy. Get up out this bitch because I'm sure she's gonna wake up any second. So, what do you give it? You guys out of the chat? Bulletproof, if you've seen it, or Death Proof? I'm sorry. Out of
Ah,
5, and my brother Link. What are you giving it?
this one's a hard one to score,
It is
man.
hard. It is hard.
Because I respect him, even though he doesn't really land it, and I still respect. It's something different,
Mhm.
And I really dig the first half of the film, even though it I'm gonna get it. I'll just say I'll give it a 4, a solid 4. Uh, but I certainly like the idea when I first found out Quentin Tarantino was gonna do a horror movie. Like I was like, what? Like this is gonna be one of the most iconic movies ever. It
Right.
wasn't, but there's still something cool behind it. And like I love Kurt Russell. I love the idea behind it. Like I wish there's something there that I think could be explored more or be done in a different movie. You know. um a serial killer stuntman, bro. Like that's a cool premise. Like I
It
just
is
wish that the second half of the movie wasn't focused on the heroine so much.
totally.
We totally lose the coolest aspect of the film, which was stuntman Mike.
I think they
But I
both
still,
missed the mark overall.
yeah,
I think they both. We said
yeah.
earlier the cocaine. I feel like they both are maybe a little rushed or not taken. Definitely, I think Tarantino didn't take this as serious as he's taken all of his other movies with the writing,
You,
especially.
you know what? Let me change that. I'll give this one a 3.75. This, like I said, I told you earlier, damn near 20 years ago, 18 years ago when I first saw this, I was like, yeah, this is way better than Planet Terror. On this rewatch, even though you got better writing in Tarantino's uh,
Mhm.
movie, I I don't know. I almost feel like
Mm.
Rodriguez nailed what they were aiming for a little bit better, where it's supposed to be this hokey, like it's this a very cheesy homage or 70s it's a homage to cheesy 70s flicks in a way. And then this, at least it is a straight up zombies movie. It's just a cool zombies movie the whole way through. This one, there's no tonality shift in that one. And with this one, there's a shift and it's jarring.
Yeah, I feel like I'm right there with you. I'm gonna go right there with you. I think I gave the last one a 3.5.
3.5,
I'm
yeah.
gonna give this a 3.75, even though like this one has higher peaks. It annoys me more how much I think they fucking swung and miss on the ending of it. That's the. I mean, it really is a giant swing and miss for me. And this one has large chunks of the movies that I don't give a shit about. But like I said, Planet Terror, we both said like that last 20 minutes, I don't give a shit about either. So I don't know. Both of them were a little bit disappointing overall. Like, you know what I mean? Me not having seen these movies and just heard about them, I was like, yeah, both of them I wish I would have liked more.
I get that. Yeah, I definitely get that. I think it's kind of, you've heard, it's like an experience thing. Like, you know, I saw this in the theaters where for you, it's kind of been built up to this. Yeah.
Allison's got a great point.
Yes.
I'm sure in the theater, if you went to, I have a drive-in near me that we go to a few times a year. I would have loved to have seen this, and it would be like a badass experience. Although knowing me, I still would have been like, I can't fucking sit still 3 hours. What do you mean? I'm gonna sit here through all these fucking trailers. I hate that I'm like that, but that is the truth.
Surprisingly, I feel like because in the theater experience you're so locked in. Because at home, you know, I think it's subconsciously we got so many distractions where it's like I'm gonna go check something out or go to the bathroom, go get something to eat.
Right.
The theater, you're locked into that bitch. So I would remember being put off like, bro, I haven't fucking seen a 3-hour movie since the Titanic. So when I saw this in theaters, but the theater experience, it was fun. It was definitely 10 out of 10. 3 hours didn't seem like 3 hours. I'll say that much because.
No, I believe that.
But yeah,
I gotta wrap this up. I'm hearing a kid screaming, and she's not coming when I call for it. She's coming, baby. I'm wrapping it up. Don't you worry. All right. I was about to just sit and figure out lockdown for sure what we're doing next week. I've got a few ideas. One I'm leaning towards, but I'm not gonna do it. Go follow Blood Splatter Chatter at blood.splatter.chatter on Instagram. I will definitely post it there, and I'll try to I can post it also here on YouTube. But it might be Peeping Tom, and we'll begin our Road to Halloween series, the evolution of the slasher, basically what that will be. But you got anything going on? You doing PCP or anything like that? Any other drugs we need to know
about? On the free time, some angel dust. But I don't. Yes, Double Dragon. I forgot I signed up for Double Dragon.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'll be doing
Double Dragon PCP Monday night. Madison, come back here, baby.
But I'll always be here every Thursday afternoon. I'm still struggling with my Death Proof score, bro. But I'm gonna leave 3.75. My bad. I was let down.
Hey, if we got to update you guys next week, we can always do that. So we'll see you guys. Hey, actually, we'll see you guys on Sunday at 1:30 Eastern time. Right? Yeah, 1:30 Eastern time. Steph and I got to get together and do another 2025 double feature where we're going to be talking about The Rule of Jenny Penn, which is a brand new Shudder original starring John Lithgow, and we're going to do The Monkey, which I think is still in theaters or just left theaters. So very excited for that. Appreciate you guys in the comment. You guys are the shit, and we'll see you next time.